going to. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna Gaussman. Um, I am a full-time career counselor in the Career Services Center, and we are going to talk about what it's like to interview on Zoom, right? And by the way, Eric, all the tips I give you today really applies also to being in a classroom. So I'm going to encourage I'm so first of all, Nick and Jessica, I'm going to give you guys a shout out right now because you have no one's on camera, which is as a facilitator and as an instructor is super difficult. So you might as well practice in your classes or in workshops being on camera as much as you can. But if um, and here's the deal, you in a Zoom interview, you can't not be on camera. So if you have this opportunity, thank you, Isaac. I so appreciate that. But if you can, so you have to be, the first tip I have is you have to be prepared to be on camera um, to to do a Zoom interview. Um, and if you can't, so in your classes, we've been having discussion as professors is even if you can't be on camera due to like multiple people being on having multiple people on your internet router and things like that. At least like if you guys look at Nick and Jessica's background, their screens, you guys can't see this, but because they actually do have profile pictures and avatars, they came to the top of my screen. Isaac is trying to be on camera, and the cool thing is that he actually is at the top of my screen. So when you have an avatar or an icon, then you can do that. Nick or Jessica, do you know how to teach the rest of the participants on how to be on? Who's John? Where's John? Is John up here? There's John. Hi, John. So if you could, can anyone instruct the group? It's a nice small group. There's only 9 of us in this. Hennessy and I are 2 of them, so there's only 7 of you. Can anyone show the group how to put an avatar into their into their black box? Anyone
Uh,
willing to do that?
the way I know how to do it, like I think it was Jessica, you just click the little 3 dots up on your little avatar, and then it tells you like edit profile picture, and you can just add any photo like from your camera roll or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. So, and once again, ideally it's a picture of you, but it's okay if it's not. As you see, Nick and Jessica both have avatars that are not theirs. So does Hennessy. That's our student services building. So sort of keep that in mind as we do this. All right. Can I add my idol? Of course you can, Isaac. Who's your idol? James Charles is my idol. Why not? Absolutely. It just is easier than just seeing a name. So if you guys, in fact, in my counseling 12 class, I am going to make this a new requirement for counseling 12 because we're going to be in this Zoom environment for a while. The college is looking at putting some classes back on ground in the fall, but it's not going to be as many as we would hope. So um, all right, so let's see, Hennessy, here we go. So let me share, um, so how to interview on Zoom. And I will just let you guys know, this is a very, can I say it one more time? It's a very tricky interview. It's not the same as when you're in person, because when you're in person, you know that you have to drive there. You have to have someone drop you off. You have to find parking. You have to go up 5 floors, 7 floors, 8 floors. You're going to be sitting in someone's office, right? Um, you know that there's going to be this exchange of resumes or this exchange of Isaac, I like your picture. So just keeping that in mind, you want to know that this is a little bit trickier because we've all become very relaxed and very casual. Your professionals Many of you, I don't know, like who your parents work for or who works for them. My husband works for a company back on the East Coast, which notoriously is already the dress up more than we do here on the West Coast. He shows up. He has at least 4 to 5 meetings a day, and his executives are always dressed and they're at home. I'm really lucky. I get to use my husband's office here in Glendale, but they are always dressed. They always have their hair done, and they always have it, the ladies. And I'm not saying that you have to have, anyways, but they are always ready to present, and they are always on camera. And so you have to keep this in mind as we move through this. Is that this is your best foot forward, and it's a trickier and Hennessy knows this about me. She's known me for several years. I hate being on camera. And I have learned in 1 year how to be on camera. Now, yes, I actually had my photo one professor and my husband buy me a Logitech camera. The college did not pay for that. I have a white light that I have because I present all, Hennessy knows this. I'm either talking to a student, I'm teaching class, or I'm presenting a workshop. So or I'm in a meeting. So I'm on camera literally 12 hours a day. So if you're not comfortable, use your classes, you guys, to get comfy on camera. Notice what you do. Notice if you like turn your head a certain way, if you have, like in my case, maybe I have lipstick on my teeth. So I want you to utilize the opportunity that you have in your classes to be on camera or in your clubs. All right. All right, so how do you interview on Zoom? Let's get started. Here we go. Um, the first thing that you can do is review the SMC interview guide because it is still an interview. There's nothing different about it. It's just on Zoom. And obviously, this was we had someone change our website. So let me go find it. If we, so don't laugh, you guys, but this is SMC, good old Google, interview, interview, interview prep, CSC. All right, so you can always Google it. And here we go. Um, oh, that was a position that we had. You guys don't want that. SMC interview prep, career services center. So we have a guideline, um, career guides. There we go. So let's see if this does by industry, career guides, general informational interviews, cover letters, networking, resumes, portfolios. Um, I will interview preparation. So we actually have dressing for success, education in early childhood, general information and sample interview questions. Because remember, keep in mind that the questions will be exactly the same on Zoom as they will be in person. So there's nothing's going to change on that. And same with dressing for success. Here's your networking. Um, hmm. Hennessy, do you know if we have the old informational interview guides?
Um,
The one that
I'm
the one that Anna Marie did?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You guys, let me go back, but let me put this because this is an amazing resource page. Because what's going to get you the interview is your resume and your cover letter, right? So that's a 100% that's how you're going to obtain your that's how you're going is going to how you're going to get your interview. And let me quickly go back through one more time. Santa Monica College interview guide, career services center. Okay. The other thing is that we'll talk about this. We will talk about this. The other opportunity you'll have is you will have the opportunity to meet with a career counselor, which I'll talk about that. And that's also another great resource for you. Here we go, on campus. This is where you can find jobs, by the way, either on campus or off campus. Hennessy is a student worker for us. And as you see on this page, we actually do have career video workshops on on our YouTube channel. So there it is, preparing for an interview. Let's see, preparing for an interview. And there it is. Okay, so definitely the purpose of the interview, and of course, who can tell me what the purpose is of an interview? Why do we interview? I don't know. Can you guys see my screen? Probably not.
Because people they
No, we
places
can't see the screen,
that
Jen.
hire you, they like see if like you qualify for them.
To see if you're qualified for a position, if you're the right fit. Yeah, exactly. It's really, you guys, it's matchmaking. Everybody interested in dating or anyone's been in a relationship before, this is basically what they're doing is they're kind of dating you. They're kind of like, this is almost like speed dating, or this is them getting to know, like, do I want to live with you? Do I want to, have you be a part of my organization and be part of my company? So definitely it's to see that you make a contribution. They want to appraise the job opportunity. They want you to avoid being screened out. And of course, you want to land the job. Some of the work you're going to do before we jump into the Zooming part of this is you do need to know your strengths, your weaknesses. You should always have a copy of your resume, even though you won't be handing it to them in person. You should have it ready on a PDF, ready to email to them if they request it, or to share screen. And you should also just know your background and experience very thoroughly. Okay. Um, the interview images, do's and don'ts. So this is before COVID, I would say. So I would probably say, depending upon who you're interviewing with, you don't need to wear a suit. You have to know your audience. And I had a company. Oh shoot, I can't think of them now. Oh, COVID-19 brain. But basically, pretty much everyone, most every employee was highly tatted, had a lot of piercings. Hot Topic. Do you guys remember that company? I don't even know if they're still in business. I'm hoping have an online presence. So Hot Topic, they would not hire me because I'm actually too conservative. I don't have any piercings except for my ears. I don't have any tattoos. And so they actually would not be interested in me because I don't meet their corporate culture, you know. So you kind of have to know your audience and know what to wear. If you are interviewing for BC for Quicksilver or Billabong or Oakley, you're not going to wear a suit, because they're lifestyle companies, right? So really, really kind of do your research on the company. So, but of course, everything should be styled neatly. If you do have a beard, make sure it's trimmed conservatively. And just keep in mind that this is a date, so you're putting your best foot forward. So that's really the most important thing. And definitely, you want to research the employer as far as what their background is, what they're looking for, who they are, who are their competition, and things like that. All right. So, what do they want to know about you? Is your academic record is super important. And if you have below a 3.0, just be able to address that. I've been working full time while I've been in school, but my plan is to transfer to Cal State Long Beach as a history major, and I hope to go into marketing at the end of that. Definitely have high energy. Um, at the end of the day, you guys, it's 3:30 right now. Is your energy level higher at 3:30 on Zoom, or is it lower?
Lower.
It's lower, right? So definitely, if you have the opportunity to choose when to interview, And especially if you're interviewing with someone my age, you need to shoot for, you definitely need to plan on that and know that most people are more energetic and more engaged and ready to go in the morning. Okay, so that's super super important to keep in mind. Let me see. Let me come back to my PowerPoint here. Um, so I just put that into the chat so you guys can see that. Any questions so far, or what are your concerns? Why did you guys pick, while I'm looking for my PowerPoint, tell me why you picked this workshop. How can I make this most engaging for you? Or is this extra credit? Is this part of your programs?
Jenna, someone in the chat asked, well, they want to know what COVID related questions they will ask them in the interview, if they will ask any.
The biggest thing that they will ask is, are you okay coming on ground? I think that's going to be the big topic of conversation right now is, are you willing to come on ground? And even at SMC, I've been asked that in the past couple of weeks, who's willing to come on ground in the fall? What would be precautions? So I think that's going to be the biggest question. And if you're not comfortable going on ground, you need to be ready to let them know that. And I think it's okay to ask too about working remote and being from home and being on Zoom. I could also see them asking about how comfortable are you on Zoom? And at SMC, we're all comfortable being on Zoom, right? Hi, Savannah. So any other questions about that? That's a great question.
Well, John just commented, he said that he was looking at the Career Services Center and saw that this event was happening and he thought that he should attend, that he wasn't looking to learn anything in specific.
Okay. All right. Thanks, John. Yeah. No, this is actually really super important because you're going to encounter this. I had a student today that got at Yale. He got invited for an interview. Do you think that interview is going to be in person? No, it's going to be on Zoom, right? So he's going to have to prepare for Zoom, and I'll do prep work with him on that as I'm about to do. So the overview of our workshop today is, and thanks, John, for joining us, because you will learn, I think you will learn some valuable advice. So it's preparing to interview on screen. Preparing your environment is absolutely super important and critical. Testing your recording equipment, and then tips for success. So the live Zoom interview is, so here we have use a video chat. So obviously it's going to be Zoom, and it's similar to a traditional interview, but online instead of in person. It will be, like I said, you will need to be on camera, so be ready for that. And it's a communication back and forth between you and the interviewer. And of course, they will ask you follow-up and clarification questions. So that's why that interview guide I just put in the chat is super important. And now we're going to get into how to prep yourself, your environment, and your equipment. So the biggest thing is getting mentally prepared. And if you are not comfortable being on camera, you really need to work on it, either with a counselor or with in your classes. The more comfortable you can be being on camera, the better you will do in your interview. So of course you can go to YouTube, and there's a ton of content out there now on how to interview tips for Zoom interviewing. Definitely this next one, get comfortable seeing yourself on screen and on camera. Be prepared to be energetic as if you're actually meeting with the hiring manager. Just remember, it's as you guys can tell, I'm standing. I actually got a stand-up desk about 4 months ago because I actually I present better when I'm standing. I'm more energetic. So if you can even figure out when you're the most engaged and most energetic, then like literally you could take your laptop and do a stack of books. You don't need a stand-up desk. You could figure out a way. Before I got the stand-up desk, there was I had this little like table where I actually put it on the desk and I put my computer on it so it faced me direct on. So remember, just think about when you're the most energetic. So it's not being on a couch, it's not being in a bed. If you're not standing, it is being maybe at a table or a desk where you're sitting up straight in a chair. And please, this is the real deal. This is not make believe. This is not a reality. This is not a reality show. Um, all right. So, any questions about this one? Get about the mentally prepared. Any other advice that anyone has for people? Any other advice that you have for getting mentally prepared?
Yeah,
What's that, Ashley?
just you just gotta believe in yourself. You just gotta like take deep breath and just, you know, believe you can do it.
Right. No, absolutely. And I actually believe that if you're interviewing, if you've been asked for an interview, they've already, thank you, Ashley, for bringing that up. If you're being asked for the interview, they've already screened you. They've already said, we want you. You're you're good enough for us that we want to talk to you. And out of 40 people, we're only talking to 5. They don't have time to talk to 40. So you've already made the first screening, and be really confident in the regards that you've already made it past that first screening. So you're exactly right. And so that's a mental game, isn't it? That you are deserving and they want to talk to you and they want to know more about you. So I think that's really important. Physically prepared, dress the part. Um, you guys can't see me, but I have a full outfit on right now. I am not wearing shorts below this sweater. So I think that's super important. And I know a lot of students or a lot of colleagues even are like, well, I'm just going to wear sweats below because they only see me from the top up to my face. But what do you think? What do you guys think? You can put it in the chat and Hennessy will read them out loud. Or tell me what you think. Why do you think I'm recommending that you literally dress the part like you're showing up in person to Jenna's office for an interview for an internship? Why is that important versus, oh, well, I've been on Zoom all day since 8 o'clock this morning, you guys, or since 9. I could have sweats on. Nobody would ever know that. But what happened? Why do you think I think it's so important to have the entire outfit on?
Because I think it's because like it makes you feel like ready or like professional or something.
Right. Right. What does it do to your mind?
It makes you like mentally prepared.
It makes you feel it's like this is the real deal. I mean, and I'm here and I'm going to present my best self. So I did you guys know that when they realized that when people and I this is my tip for when you take tests even online or when we go back on ground, do you realize when people dress up even just a little bit, and as a student, when I say dress up, I'm talking business casual. I'm not talking a suit or full like how I'm dressed right now. But like when you dress up more than what you normally would, do you know the statistics, the research shows that you score like exponentially higher points than people that don't dress? I have not allowed my kids to be in their pajamas during Zooming this entire year for high school. They have to be dressed, sitting at their table, ready to go. And it's a mindset around like I'm sitting here in my sweats or my pajamas versus the whole outfit. So it's super super important, like Ashley's saying, that it's kind of it's a mindset. Hennessy, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, like, based off of everything, all the interviews I've been through, it's just good to show up prepared because, like, the employer sees like you're well put together, like you're suited for the job, and obviously a lot of companies and a lot of, well, yeah, like businesses, they look at somebody and they obviously have an aesthetic. Like they don't want their company to look like people are sluggish or like not well put together. Like they want to be able to show that their employees and themselves like have their stuff together and like they're ready to work and they're fit for the job.
Right. Exactly. No, that's a really good example. And you guys will know that, like, if you start watching yourself on camera, you'll start to know, like, I need some new t-shirts, or I need to start wearing collared shirts, or I want to change my image for my company, or for as a student in a class. Do you understand that when you're on camera in your class, you do come to the front of the screen and a professor will get to know your name, they'll get to know your face. And just like I was saying around how you dress and how you present yourself, you actually could possibly have more of an opportunity when they grade your papers, that you're going to get a little bit of an edge and a little bit of a leg up, almost like a tipping point. So really do not, definitely do not discount this part. All right, moving along, body language is super important. And this is about standing up straight or sitting up straight and kind of being engaged, leaning forward, being close to the camera, just making sure that you have appropriate body language. Um, Definitely practice looking at the camera. My camera's in a weird spot, and I keep moving it around. So I know I don't always look directly at it because I'm looking at all of you guys on my left-hand side of my screen. But definitely practice looking at the camera and having really good eye contact. And find out what makes you the most comfortable, sitting, the most confident, actually, sitting or standing. Um, and this is also critical, and making sure that you're going to be able to, if you talk with your hands a lot, then please stand. Figure out a way to make it stand. And how to put your computer on a small table on a table. It works. It's like that's what I did at the last spring before I got the standing desk and things like that. I had this conference room, and I had this table, this standing table. I would put on top of the conference table and put my computer on it. So you guys are creative. You're much more creative than I am. Trust me. You're 30 years younger than I am. So, but find out what makes you comfortable. Also, did you know on your Zoom, did you guys know on your Zoom, your Zoom accounts, you can record yourself? Did you guys know that?
I didn't.
Yeah. So every SMC student, you have like it's not you don't have the length of time I do as a faculty, but your Zoom accounts are, I believe you have up to 40 minutes. So you can literally practice, have someone standing to the side, or you could Zoom a friend and say, I need you to ask me these 5 questions, and you can record yourself and see how you look. What are the weird things you do? Do you do this with your hair? I do this all the time. So this is something I'd have to work. I always run my hands through my hair and do this. Or do I go like this? Or do I pick my nose? Um, so long story short, you actually can record yourself and it's a Hennessy. Do you know, can you share? So it's actually at the very bottom of your panel, and it says record. I'll show it to you actually when we jump back. Well, let me just do it now. So I'm going to stop the share. So do you guys, if you look at the bottom of your screen, of your Zoom screen, you're going to see this button. It says pause, stop recording. Does everyone see that?
I don't think everyone can see it, only you and I, because we're host and co-host.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
How could we do that? So if you're hosting it and you are the host of your own Zoom room, you'll see it on the very bottom of the controls, and it says pause, stop recording. So you can just hit that and you'll be able to record yourself. Highly, highly recommend doing that as well. It's just like practicing. I was a little bit late for our call today because I have a colleague who's in a master's program, and she has to go through it's called comp interviews. And I told her, I said, Jade, practice these questions with a colleague and practice them on Zoom. Practice them on Zoom, see what you sound like, see how you look, see see what the mannerisms you use. So that's super important. Um, There it is, shaking your legs, playing with your hair. And then obviously practice interviewing with a friend or family member. And remember, a lot of these you can do even if you're interviewing for a job. Okay, your environment. Any questions about preparing yourself? Sound good? Also, I keep saying that, highly encourage, but if you haven't shopped in a year, go shopping for a new outfit. Go shopping for a new outfit. I know a lot of us have maybe not made as much money this year, but H&M is a great place to go for men and women. Their items are truly um, they're truly like professional. And actually, this is an H&M. What I'm wearing right now is an H&M outfit. And it's a very reasonable price, professional quality hip clothing. They have the right colors, they have the right look. So you might pop into H&M. Any other places that people find for really good, like maybe kind of more business casual type of clothing? Any other favorite sites?
I know Zara has really good clothing too, but it's a little bit more expensive. But if you guys live here in LA, the H&M that's on Fig and 7th, that one has a lot of really good business casual clothing. And it's like very affordable as well.
It's very affordable. And that's in DTLA. So thanks, Hennessy. And I was going to say Target has some, I've gotten some great dresses.
Yeah, I
And
like
outfits from
Target.
Target has some great things as well. But why do you think I'm suggesting buying a new outfit? What does that do for why would I suggest buying a new outfit instead of just digging into your closet?
I'll just go ahead. I think a new outfit makes people like more happy and more motivated as well and more confident.
It makes you more confident and it makes you happier. Exactly, Hennessy. And it makes you feel like alive and vibrant. And Hennessy knows I just did a lecture series called Skating Beyond the Fire with two professional skateboarders from Los Angeles street skaters. And I went out and bought a new dress for that. I've never done a lecture series. There's 115 people in the lecture. And I made sure I went out and bought a new dress for that. Because even though I have plenty of dresses, ask my husband, I have plenty of dresses in my closet. I wanted to feel like inspired for that day. And I bought the dress 6 weeks before the lecture, and I did not wear that dress though until that night. And so there's a lot to be said about spending sometimes you have to spend a little money to make a lot of money. Does that so it make sense? All right, prep your environment. Make sure it's tidy, quiet, and well lit. If you have people in your home, just making sure that um, you know, just asking them, this is only going to be a 30-minute interview. And I've done this. Shoot, I forget what I was doing. I was actually at home, not in this office, and I it was some very important meeting or something, and all of a sudden I muted myself, and I wasn't interviewing, but I just told both my kids, I'm like, get off your games. I need you off your games for 1 hour because I have this meeting right now. It's super important, and I need you off media for 1 hour. Go skateboarding, leave the house, and if one of you could take the dog and you just when it's that important to you, you just do what you can. Everyone is very great, full of grace as far as maybe having a toddler in the background or having a dog in the background, but do as much as possible of letting your family know this. I'm on an interview from 3 to 3:30. So if we could have everyone go off media, have everyone go off the internet so I don't go, I have wobbly internet connection. And if someone could take the dog for a walk, that'd be fantastic because I'm on the line here for a $18 an hour job, right? So definitely do that. Video recorder, make sure you look it on screen. Your face is well lit. Remember, you can put, I have a white light, but white light ring, but remember you can put, you actually can put, we don't want you looking like you're in a witness protection program. We want you, we want you to look like you're interviewing for a job. So you can literally bring lamps in and they just can't see it on the screen. So if you're in a dark lit room, light the room as much as possible. All right, for your interview. If you're going to use buds, just make sure that you can hear yourself and that you have a microphone. Shame on Jenna. On my lecture series, I didn't check my microphone as much as I should. It kind of goes in, it went in and out. And I had my colleagues, my father, everyone's like, your microphone doesn't work. We can't hear you. So definitely do what you can, and definitely with the Wi-Fi. Remember to have the Zoom link ready set at least 7 minutes before it starts, just like you would in a real interview. Make sure you have access to that Zoom link and it's ready to go. Nothing worse than at 3:30, like I was, looking for that Zoom link and trying to find it and trying to log in. And then what else? Always, this sounds weird, but have a legal pad and a pen ready. I was working with the interns today, and our boss said a really great statement about why students should be on camera. And the statement was, when you are on camera, you build a community, like in a classroom. And I told the interns, I'm like, write that down. Nobody had a pen and paper. It was so funny, and even I had to reach over to my other desk here to grab it. But make sure you have a pen and paper ready to do, along with a copy of your resume. Why do I say that? Why do I want a legal pad and pen ready?
Wait, what was, well, oh, someone says show the interviewer that you are engaged. Oh, Talia said that.
Yeah, no, you're right, Talia. It's showing the interviewer that you're engaged. And the copy of the resume. So as if they ask you a question about your resume, you know what's on your resume. Because if you have to toggle back and forth and go off the Zoom link, you're going to lose eye contact. And so you need to be ready for it, just like you would a real live interviewer. And then please, even though we're on Zoom, silence your cell phone, because that still rings through, it still dings. In fact, turn it off. I would just recommend turning off your phone. All right, how to ace your interview. Let's watch a video. This is a really cute video. And let's see if it works. So 3 o'clock where I work is all.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good. No.
We love Grammarly.
Hi, it's Allie. Welcome to my channel. If you have an interview coming up, keep watching, because in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how you should set up your laptop and get dressed and ready to make a killer impression on your interviewer. Your setup can make or break the interview, so you definitely want to be sure that you're getting this down. Set aside 15 minutes for the setup, so that you can go from looking like this unemployable freak to this professional, reliable new hire. Bad lighting can be super distracting, while good lighting can make you look a lot more friendly and personable over your interview. Wherever the lighting is coming from in the room, make sure you're not set up with your back to it. Like maybe it's coming from the side of you. That isn't ideal either. The best setup is to position yourself near the light, directly facing the light source. This will give you the optimal lighting and leave a much clearer and stronger impression. Next, let's talk about angles. If your webcam is pointing upwards and you're looking down, your laptop is set up too low. An angle that's too low looks really awkward and can be very unflattering. Your interview is not competition grounds for who can have the biggest butt chin. If your webcam is angling down at your eyes and you're straining your neck to look up at your webcam, it's probably way too high. It's probably also stacked on a pile of things and is close to falling over. An angle that's too high can also be distracting and kind of uncomfortable for the interviewer. This angle always reminds me of Asian tourists taking selfies, and that's probably not the impression you want to be giving your interviewers. The most impressionable and professional webcam angle is when it is eye level. You might have to stack a few books or objects underneath. Your eyes should be looking at the webcam in a straight line. This is the angle that will most represent how you would be looking at the interviewer in a real life interview. So make sure you're setting up this eye level angle before your interview. In terms of the webcam crop, you need your full face in the frame. When you're adjusting this crop, remind yourself to sit up straight so that you can get an accurate crop. During the interview, you want to be sitting up straight. It's best to leave a bit of room above your head. This way, your eyes are about 2/3 of the way in the screen. It's also a good idea to have your shoulders in the shot. Make sure that you check or test the audio before your interview. Terrible audio quality or a distracting background. Can definitely kill your interview. Next, let's hop over to the makeup. Guys and girls, you want to make sure that your hair is clean and combed. Otherwise, it'll be a dead giveaway that you stayed up playing Animal Crossing. Web cameras aren't super high quality, but well-placed interview makeup can definitely still make a difference. You can skip the foundation, just do a little bit of concealer, especially under your eyes if you're tired. Show your eyebrows some love. Guys and girls, put on chapstick before your interview because chapped lips can be very distracting. I like to do a simple brown shadow in my eye creases to give my eyes a bit more depth. I also always do my contour on webcam calls. I think it makes a significant difference without being super distracting. A little bit of eyeliner, a little bit of mascara, a neutral colored lip gloss, and you're good to go. And there you have it, a fresh and non-distracting webcam interview makeup. Next, let's move on to wardrobe. Even the lowest res webcam is not going to transform your hoodie into a suit, unfortunately. If it's a business interview, always lean on the side of business professional. I don't have any business professional clothing with me right now, so we'll just pretend that I'm wearing it. AirPods are great, and if you don't have AirPods, go with earphones over headphones. It's a good idea to have a cup of water in reaching distance, but no snacks. A little jewelry is okay, but as a rule of thumb, it should be very, very small and subtle. For a entertainment, fashion, PR, music, or media type of internship, it's usually fine to show a little more personality. You can always keep it professional with a structured jacket or blazer. You can play up your accessories more for this, but make sure they're not distracting. For a super casual dress code interview, techies, I'm looking at you. Try to wear solid color clothing. If you're wearing a t-shirt, double check what it says. A safe bet is always a simple v-neck or crew neck tee. To all interviewers, please change out of pajama pants. Interviewers are pretty psychic and they can probably actually sense that you're wearing sweatpants. If you don't want to go the full mile and wear uncomfortable dress pants, at least put on a pair of black jeans. You'll feel much less awkward about yourself during the interview. Now you know exactly how you should set up your laptop and get ready for your interview. Hopefully you found this video helpful. I have a couple more videos on college and internship topics before I get back to my regular content on fashion, beauty, postgrad life, and travel. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, so let's see here. Let me see if I can get back to where I was. All right. So that was kind of, she reiterated a lot of what I just said. Any questions about that video? Definitely, I forgot about the glass of water and the headphones. I think buds are better than headphones because they're just kind of end up kind of taking on, it looks like we're on a gaming console or we're like we're airplane pilots or something like that. So definitely try to do buds or if over headphones or do neither, just do a microphone in your computer. So definitely 3 hours. So definitely really tidy up. She didn't talk so much about your background, really making sure your background is well lit, or there's a plant behind you, that there's some that there's I kind of just make it look a little bit interesting. And I know everyone has a picture, even if you hang the picture up just for the interview. If you have this plant behind me, actually, you guys, is on a table, and it was on the ground when I came into this office, but what I did is if I'm standing, I wanted it to be my background as far as some greenery, some interesting things. If I was doing an interview, what do you see in my background that if I was doing an interview, there's one thing in my background right now that I would, if I was doing an interview, that I would remove? Can anyone tell me what looks a little cluttered?
The papers on the desk.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did is when I was doing the lecture series, I cleaned up all those legal pads and all those notepads and brought them out of the view of the camera. So definitely practice on camera. And like I said, everyone has a Zoom link. Even if you just sign up for Zoom, you have access to Zoom. And as SMC students, you have access to your own account. Maybe you didn't know that, but you can also set up your own account and you'll get 40 minutes, up to 40 minutes free. So you can practice all of this without having to be a faculty or a staff member here at SMC. If you can't put anything in the background, then at least do a white background, and make it as uncluttered as just make it as uncluttered as possible. And try to make sure that it's not a kitchen. I would say I've had a lot of students meet with me in their kitchen, which I'm fine with, but if it was an interview, I'd kind of wonder, is there not a space that they can find that's just quiet? Once again, ask your family to get involved in this if you have an interview and say, hey, can you help me create a space for my interview? And if you get your younger siblings involved, or your parents involved, you know what? If they know you're getting a job or an internship, I know they'll help you with that, and they'll be really engaged in it, and like, well, let's move this couch around, or let's hang that picture, or let's move that picture, or I guarantee you they'll jump on board of creating a really neat space for you. So that's really, really important. What did I miss? Did I miss anything that anyone would like to bring up? No? All right. So if you don't have any questions, you can actually make an appointment with a career counselor at this phone number, the 310-434. Hennessy, do you mind putting that in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put all of our stuff in the chat.
4337. And then also you can email us for an appointment. And my biggest piece of advice is that you do make an appointment with us. If you know you have an interview, I was telling you about my student with who has a Yale interview. He's he's going to make an appointment with me and meet with me 2 or 3 times before that interview. We'll talk about everything we just talked about, your dress code, what are you going to wear, what color tie should he wear? Because in this case for Yale, it's the East Coast, he needs to wear a tie. What color tie do you think would make an impression for a biology major? What is your guys' recommendation for Johnny? What should we tell him?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, why?
I don't know. I just think like a nice kind of shiny royal blue.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Because it's not fashion. Biology is a little bit more conservative. If it was business, I might actually say like the pink behind me in my Florecitas painting, So, but there's a lot of, if you guys Google the psychology of color, there's actually a lot of psychology in color. But if you wore a black tie, then he kind of looks like a waiter, right? He'll look like a waiter or a chauffeur. So we don't want that. So anyways, Hennessy, I will recommend to him to wear a royal blue, a bright blue. So, but there's a lot to be said in colors as well, of what you wear. So definitely practice. Take advantage of the fact that you can come meet with us for free as long as you're enrolled in 3 units. We have I'm making a presentation to candidates that are going to be underneath a scholarship review, and they have to interview for this scholarship. And Anne Marie and I are doing a training on Friday, and we're going to recommend come meet with a career counselor. And I will guarantee you the ones that meet with a career counselor and practice will perform better than those that don't. So come seek out the experts, and let us help you be the best that you can be. So, all right, and follow us on Instagram. We have Right Hennessy. We have Jessica Mishkani, our social media coordinator. All of our workshops, all of our information is on this Instagram account. She does an amazing job keeping you abreast of all the things happening at Santa Monica College. So, all right, if there's aren't any other questions, I'm going to let you guys go for the day.